Good afternoon, LinkedIn. Welcome to another special edition of Let's Build Happily here with my main event management man, Max Cohen.
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
Oh, just eating some peanut butter protein yogurt. My dog just puked. I'm having an unreal day, dude.
Oh
It's crazy.
no, that
Yeah.
doesn't bode well for
She
puppy
drank some
breaks.
weird rainwater outside. And then I came in and she ate, and then she reversed that. And
Yeah,
now
and that
she's
has
sleeping.
nothing
So
to
hopefully
do,
she's going to behave. Yeah.
and that has nothing to do with what we're seeing on your spoon. That's
Mm-mm.
good.
No, nothing. Oh, now I don't want to eat it. Anyway, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Yep.
Doing good. Just got off with our friend, Stuart Balcom talking about connected GTM in HubSpot.
Oh, wow. How'd
And
that go?
dare I say, it kind of relates to what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
Um, we can do the whole customer journey in HubSpot now, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Even if you
and
meet him at a trade show.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just blind luck or I just happen to focus on all the things that are broken, but we were just talking about sales to post sales handoff, and I'm super focused on quote to cash optimization, and I think it is the way it is because we haven't had great systems to use to make those easier for people to actually do their jobs, easier to interact with customers, easier to track information related to our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes beyond the customer, like supply chain stuff, like anybody who's involved in helping us serve that customer. And now I find myself, talking about this event management stuff, and we're somehow in the same boat. People haven't figured this out as
They have
far
not.
as how can we get out of the spreadsheet and make it a little bit easier to do this right next to our customer data and our revenue data. And when especially when you compare that to how much some people invest in events,
Uh-huh.
right? Like,
Yeah.
why haven't we done this before?
Well, those booths get expensive.
They do. Um, so I don't know exactly how we got here, but the point is we are here with Event Happily,
Yep.
which
Well, I
uh,
can tell you how we got here with the product.
I mean, yeah,
I
let's
mean,
start there.
and I think like a lot of the conversations, we had early on with like you and Salim, uh, considering you work with a lot of folks in the industrial space, right? Who still love going to trade shows. That's like a huge way that they're networking and meeting people and things like that. They're setting their marketing and sales teams out there and all that kind of stuff. And I distinctly remember the conversation that we had where I was showing you guys Event Happily in its first form, which, is still, I'd say, kind of its primary use case today, which is like, hey, you're a company that hosts events. You put on your own webinars. You put on your own in-person events. Maybe you're putting on conferences or seminars or summits or trainings or whatever, right? There's a better way to manage that. And I remember when I was showing that to you guys, you were like, this is cool, but but it would be great if, we as a manufacturing company could say, hey, these are the events that we're going to be at, right? We're going to have a booth there. Come see us, come talk to us, come touch the stuff we build, right? And that's when it first kind of sparked in my head of like, oh, like, yeah, they should have like, a way of saying like, we're not necessarily hosting this event, but we're going to be there, right? If you're talking about like a listing page, for example, for like your events on your website. Because you'd want to put those right alongside stuff that you might be hosting, like a webinar or whatever, right? And
Right.
then the more and more people that we showed this to when it first came out, after those like early conversations we had with you guys, right? 80% of the conversations I had were, yeah, we host events, but we also go to trade shows, we go to conferences, we go to these things. And it's really hard for us to be able to, one, capture the leads or upload the leads that we got if we weren't able to do our own lead capture, right? And be able to tie those somehow or tag them somehow to the event that we met people at, because we're going to like all these different events all year, right? And then I started having trauma flashbacks to my time as an implementation specialist, being like, oh, yeah, I remember a lot of people having this problem, right? And, you know, took a little convincing, but we got there. And now we've got real features in Event Happily that not only serve the hosting use case, but also serve the event attendance use case, right? And it's even better if you're doing both, right? You know, and to kind of frame things up for anyone watching this, if you're a company that goes to trade shows, goes to conferences, goes to whatever type of flavor of events that you're investing in sending people out to, right? And you're having a hard time making sense of who you met at that event, what leads you got at that event, what you talked about, whatever it is. If you're struggling with getting that stuff into HubSpot in a way that makes sense, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there doing big list uploads or trying to make sense of form submissions, and maybe you've got some big scary gnarly drop down of like an events that you've got, right, with like 100 different events that you've gone to, right, and you're dealing with like appending or replacing values or saying, oh, we met these people at multiple events, right? And then if you're also staring into the black hole that is deal attribution back to those events, once your sales team starts selling to these folks that you meet, have we got some cool stuff to show you today?
Yes, it's no longer good luck. Just
good
bring
luck,
in,
have fun. It's it's here's a form, go nuts. Yeah.
You talking about your flashbacks gave me flashbacks of trying to make data match up in HubSpot with Salesforce campaigns and the way that people manage leads lists related to. It's literally like, this is why you don't build it around the actual tactic of, hey, I need to import some leads. Let's make that part. No, we're trying to create conversations and relationships. And basically, whether it's marketing, sales, service, customer success, if that is the outcome you're hoping for, hopefully that simplifies it to say, yes, you should be doing that in HubSpot. Like you should be tracking that stuff because it's all about this relationship whenever it starts for the first time. And I know he won't mind, but you know, we were just on the partner call and George asks like, okay, so when I go to inbound and I speak, right, it might be the only event that he like goes and invests in every year, but he will get value out of what we're going to show today. So it's literally like, if you're investing in this thing to help you develop business and relationships, yes, there is a place to do it for you in HubSpot now.
Yeah, because every single member of his theme can have the forms on their phone to capture the leads, right? And then if he sells to anybody after those, he can start to quantify the return, right?
Yeah. So, anybody with a booth at inbound, like it's just, yeah.
I can tell you, we're going to use it because what we did last year was a nightmare. For anyone who wants to know, we were taking pictures of people's badges that we had conversations with and then annotating the picture to just like type or scribble with our fingers what we were supposed to reach out to these people about after. And let's just say that sucked. And so I'm glad that this year we'll be eating our own dog food, whether we're actually capturing leads at the booth or importing a list from the Booper scanner or like whatever it is. Right. So yeah,
that's a good point. Be able to align that list wherever they might be coming from.
Totally.
So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah. And now you got a fresh install, right?
Yep. We're going to show people how easy this is to set up. And I do expect reason I love doing this is especially when there's new shiny objects in HubSpot, and it's so like the customer platform is just so expansive now. And but if you don't know about it, sometimes it takes somebody doing something really cool to say, oh, you could do this thing. You try to go in and do it, and there's some buttons in random places that you haven't clicked yet.
Yeah.
Right. Leads is a big one that falls under that category right now.
Yep.
And we got some leads object action to show you today.
Yes, we are the first app to integrate with the new leads object in the prospecting workspace. So we're super happy to hold that W. But yeah, we're stoked. So
yeah. So we're
got
going
a fresh
to
portal here.
Yeah.
Looks like you got some fake contacts in there also.
Yeah, Team
Great.
Final Fantasy in the portal.
And so you already installed Event Happily and everything?
I have not.
Wait, what? I thought we already installed it.
That was the test to make sure the install worked.
Okay, and then so did you uninstall it?
No, I just have a mess of dev portals here to choose from. So
got it. So this might take a second then. We might
Yeah, that's okay. We know how to fill the air.
Yeah, we
right?
know how to fill the time. Right. Cool.
But this is the key, like, especially for the stuff that you haven't done before. I find that just uncertainty of any kind just gets in the way of progress. So that's why that's the culture of this show, if you will, is trying not to hide, any clicks. We could have synced with Zoom there if we wanted, right?
Yeah, no need for this piece. Yeah.
This is where, because also, where HubSpotters get in trouble, both inside the four walls and users, is you see a cool new tool and you're like, oh yeah, we can do that. Install it, no problem. Right. And then all of a sudden, you can't. Yep. And then you got to buy more, or you got to pay more for development. Right.
Yeah.
So I love the portal you guys have put together. Right. A good video from Dax here. More information. Right. This is what customer success looks like, by the way. Resources available. We come back over here and some checks that we're going to do. First of all, best practice HubSpot is we're refreshing pages. I'm going to come over into settings, and the indicator that I saw last time is custom objects.
Hey, there you go.
We want to see this, and we want to see these 5 objects. Now that we see these, there's some other stuff already in there, and now I'm going to let Max kind of walk me through it.
Just to note, the Event Happily install is like a pretty heavy one. So like you want to give it like a couple of minutes, right? Because we're piping in a bunch of object infrastructure to handle everything, right? So there's a bunch of custom objects. There's a bunch of like CMS modules and stuff that we stuff into there too. We've got a whole bunch of properties on the contact object as well that helps you with things like thank you emails for registrations and stuff like that. And then we have a bunch of workflow actions that we drop in there too, right? So, all these things hinge on API calls being made to like create this stuff, right? So when you go and install it, just give it a second. It'll all get in there. But hopefully we have everything we need here. We already see events, which is great. Are you seeing events in your object nav yet?
This one took a little longer last time. So, I'm not sure why.
Like HubSpot takes a little while to like update the menu here. But there's some stuff that we can do in the meantime while that's happening to get this use case up and running, right? So first thing we need to do, Chris, is we need to kind of think about how we're actually capturing leads at the trade show. And one of HubSpot's, premier functions, if you will, to do that is forms. All right. So why don't we start by going and building out a form in the forms tool. All right. And then we're going to create a form here. And then of course, we're pros. We'll set it up ourselves. In this case, I'm going to actually have you do a standalone page because we don't want to have to rely on a landing page for this, right? We'll start with a blank template. And then let's go and name this form just like Event Happily, like, or Event Lead Capture form or something like that. Cool. Now, the idea here is we're creating just one single form that you can use for all the different events that you go to that you capture leads, right? We're trying to reduce the amount of things you have to build to handle your events. That's why when you look at the hosted side, right, we leverage dynamic landing pages a lot, right? We don't want you to have to create a new landing page every single time you got a session or something for people to sign up for, right? We want to reduce the amount of stuff you have to build, right? And just, you know, make it a little easier, make it a lot more lightweight, right? Capturing leads is no different. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and put a couple of properties on this form. So let's do the basics, like first name and last name. Hey, why is it not letting you do existing properties? What is this? Get a refresh.
There we go. All right.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
This is why I love doing this, right? Like the best thing, the most underrated thing about HubSpot is like, you know, it's easy to find your way around and troubleshoot in most cases if you allow yourself to do that,
stuff like that,
right?
Yeah.
And that's where you got to know, like, okay, nothing like I've seen before. First step, refresh the page. All right. Fixes the problem 90% of the time.
Right. So let's do this. Let's see if those lead properties that we inject are already ready for us to put in. So can you just search? These are going to be contact properties. Go search for just like happily lead.
Like this guy.
There we go. Yep.
Right.
So what you're going to do is you're going to pop in latest happily event lead ID, and then latest happily event lead note, and just pop that above lead ID. Okay. So let's go and rename that latest happily event lead note field to just notes, because that's an awkward thing to have on a form. Cool. And now think of this as just like, oh, if you're the salesperson filling out this form on your own and you just want to give some context into this person that you met, you could put it here. This is also like not an awkward thing to do if someone's filling out the form on their own, say on an iPad at like a booth, right? You know, so we're not, you know, including the name of the property in here. All right. And then what I want you to do is for that second property, latest happily event lead ID, you're going to go ahead and make that field hidden, right? Now, the reason we have this property on here is we want to pass a record ID for an event into this field. And then we have a lead work. So we have a contact workflow action that's going to take that value and handle the associations automatically back to our event object, right? So Chris, what I want you to do is just go ahead and update this, and then keep this tab open because we're going to have to come back to it because we want to grab a couple of links. All right, but we're not going to do that yet. So next thing I want you to do is I want it to be super, super easy for someone to be able to access this form as well as a unique link to the form, right? On their event records, right? So the idea is I can go to an event record and boom, I've got my link I've got to share with my team so they can go use this, you know, specific link to get people to this form, right? And that link is going to have some unique information in it that tells the form which event this is for, right? So what we're going to do is let's go to our happily event object properties. And yep, let's go to happily event. And then can you search the word form in here? I think we actually inject these automatically. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we actually already have this. So we don't even need to build this because we pop this in on. Just to tell you what this is, you've got your event lead capture form edit link. This is meant for you to just dump in the link to go edit the form should you want to quickly go there from your event record, right? The next one is actually going to hold a unique URL to actually take you to the share link of the form with a query parameter on it that is going to inject the record ID into that hidden field. Okay. So what we need to do here is we need to make sure this stuff shows up on your event record, right? So let's go edit your event record, and we're going to edit the left-hand sidebar of that just so we can get this stuff in here and it's easy for you to find. Cool. So let's do record customization. Let's customize the left-hand sidebar. Man, I can't wait till dev accounts have the beta stuff so we can just use the unified one. But yeah,
we're doing it. This is the kind of stuff that you might run into.
Yeah.
Unified.
Actually, what's funny is I think I was actually able to join this on a dev account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I thought dev accounts were unable to install betas.
Not my experience.
Really? I've literally had someone at HubSpot tell me that before. Maybe I'm crazy. I might be insane.
Well, there's some crazy HubSpotters over
anyway.
there too.
All right. Well, let's go edit this. Let's go edit the sidebar.
All right. So we're going back here and refresh. Yep. Because we want to do it all in one place, not these left.
We got it working. There we go.
Yep.
So what we're going to need to do then is let's add a card on the left-hand side so it gets its own section. And let's go create a card. Property list. And let's name the card Event Lead Capture. Oh. Let me just copy that to internal.
This is like, I feel like this could be better. That's what I do every single time.
Oh, that's what
copy
I do
and
too.
paste that name, right?
Just automatically just bring it over. Like, I don't know why, like, it makes you, I mean, I get it. Like, you might want to name it something different, but like, it's whatever. Okay, cool. So for properties, go hit choose a property and add in just like search form here. Oh, there you go. You get the two right at the top. So, yep. So do the edit link and then do the form URL and then what? So like something that I did, and we don't need to do this here in the interest of time, is in my portal, I have a custom property that tells me if this is an event that I'm hosting or an event that I'm attending. And what I do is I make this section conditional if it's an event that I'm attending, and I just make it visible on that, because if it's one that I'm hosting, I don't need to show this stuff on my event page. Right. But yeah, so you can hit, you hit the trash can. You don't need a third one here. We're just going to do these two. And then go ahead and hit save. Wunderbar. All right, cool. So if we go to our event objects now, we'll see a section for event lead capture. The question is, when our event objects get created, how are we going to make sure that those automatically have the properties in them that we want in order to actually create a lead, right? So, or to actually get to the form, I'm sorry. So let's actually go set up a workflow for Happily event objects. Now, as you're setting this up, I'm going to kind of just do a little aside here. For any Event Happily users, this is something that I recommend that you do. Oftentimes when you're building a new event or building a new session or a registrant's getting created or something, there are like, there could be like a number of things you want to automatically happen. So I highly suggest creating workflows called Happily event object setup, Happily session objects, or it's object setup, Happily, registrant object setup, so that when you have these objects get created, right, it automatically does a lot of stuff for you, so you don't have to do it manually, right?
Yes.
You could take that. That's not a novel concept. You can do that for other objects too as well, right? But I've found it especially useful for stuff like this, for Event Happily, depending on what your workflow is, right? And how you like to manage this stuff. Well, let's go ahead and create a workflow here from scratch. And let's do an event-based workflow. So Happily event-based. Yes.
Custom object-based. Love it.
Next. And just name this like Happily event, object setup or something, right? Here we go. I hit save. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to set up a trigger to run this the second any event object gets created, right? So let's choose when an event occurs for the automatic trigger enrollment. Trigger enrollment. And then choose object created as the option here. And hit save. Oh yeah, done and then save. Okay, cool. So we've got those two properties that we want to fill, right? One with a link to the form so we can quickly jump to it and edit it. We're not clicking around and going through the forms tool and all that stuff. And then another one that's going to be that unique URL to the share link. All right. So step one, go ahead and hit plus here and let's do set property. Yep. It's a CRM set property value. And then the value that you're going to choose to set, just search form. Yeah. Edit link. Yeah. We'll do the edit link first. Now go back to your form, copy the URL to this page. So just hit done. So you're not like drilled into this like thing. Yep. So go copy the URL to this page to edit this form. And also this is not a required step. This is a quality of life thing. All right. So no, we don't want the share link yet. Copy like the literal link to edit this form, like the URL of the page you're looking at right now. Yeah. You can get rid of options and just leave it on form or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So come back here.
Copy that whole stinking URL.
Okay.
Yep. That big sweaty stinky URL, and then just go back into your workflow. Just paste that in there. Again, not required. This is just a quality of life recommendation. All right, because who knows? Maybe you're looking at your event record and you're in the week leading up to an event, and you're like, man, I want to capture like another piece of information on this, or like I want to change up the logo on the form, or like whatever. Right? You can quickly jump to it, while it's front of mind. You don't have to dig around for it in the forms tool. Right. So it's just a recommendation. We put the property in there so you can do something like this. So hit save.
Love it.
Yep. All right. Now go back to your form and then hit update on the right hand side just so we can get the share link. So hit publish. So copy that share link right there. Right. And if anyone doesn't know what a share link is, hit preview link and tab. This just brings you to like a page with the form on it. Right. Super simple. What you're going to do is go back to forms. Actually, sorry, go back to your workflow, not your forms. Okay. And then add another, and do set a property value. And this time we're going to choose that other one, that capture form URL. Paste this link in here. And then what we need to do is we need to make a query parameter for the internal value of that field, right? So this is super easy to do. Go back to your form.
Am I saving this yet?
No, not yet. Just go back to your form. Yep. Get out of this thing. Go look at that happily event lead ID field down there. Click on it. See how you can see the internal value name under contact property name?
Yep.
Copy that. Yep. Go back into your workflow. Now what you're going to do is at the end of this URL, hit a question mark. Hit paste, hit equals. And then what you're going to do is where it says insert data on the right, you're going to find record ID for the event. Because what we're doing is we're pasting in the record ID here. So just search for record ID. Yep.
There we go.
You got it. Bang. And then hit save.
Cooking with gas, folks.
Done. Hit review and publish. Yep. Just so you can hit skip all this. Just hit yes, next. Smash that orange button. Turn that baby on. All right. Wonderful. So let's go see if we did this right. Okay. Let's go and create an event object. All right. So let's get out of here. Let's go and just go to your happily events in your CRM tab. There we go.
It's there now.
Oh, install was faster. Nice. Yep.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go create a happily event. Now, pause here, guys. One thing that HubSpot's API doesn't let us do is it doesn't let us pre-format these create record pages. So what I would highly recommend anyone using Event Happily to do is spend some time deciding what properties you want to have required right? When you're actually creating events and creating sessions. So why don't you just like remove all this stuff here and let's just do some real basics. Yeah, you don't need start time for an event like this. Yeah. Yep. So take name, put it above description. Yep. Get rid of postal code, state, region. We don't need any of that stuff for this specifically. You can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get the start date in there. Yep. And then you can remove external source. That's if it's created from Zoom. And then you can remove all the like required associations here. You don't even need any of this stuff right now for our use case, at least. So you can just delete that or uncheck that stuff. If you hover, you get the trash can. Same as the other one.
Right. And delete all of it, you said?
Yeah, yeah. You don't need any of this right now.
All right. Clean it up.
Yeah. And then why don't you add in end date? Because end date's important.
Properties. End date.
There you go. Cool.
There we go.
Go ahead and save. Now, something that I've really done to kind of customize my experience here, which we're not going to do for this, but this is a really great reason to use custom event, custom session properties, right? And then build what's the word I'm looking for? Build conditional logic around what information it asks for. For example, it doesn't make sense for you to put in a whole bunch of information about the physical location of an event if it's virtual, right? So why force yourself to enter that information in, right? And like when you use conditional like logic on here, you can make it so you're only filling out the stuff you really need to fill out depending on the type of event that you're doing, right? But we don't need to do any of that for this. So we can that can be another episode and I can show you how I set up mine, right?
Yep. Just saying, y'all, this is really nice to
this
use
stuff is sick.
if you haven't used it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So now we can go, just hit refresh. We can go create an event here. Cool. Call this, trade show 2024 or whatever. And then whatever you want for the description. And it's just not required. It's just nice to have some additional context into what it's about. And let's just choose an arbitrary date in the future. Let's say it's a week long. Why not? Cool. And let's go create the event. All right. Now, first thing we're looking for here is our workflow to work and give us the form link as well as the lead capture URL, right?
Which should be here, right?
Well, it's actually in that first one that you just created, but since it's custom properties, it shows up in there too. Yeah.
And
awesome.
there it is.
Yeah. So you would obviously edit your About This Happily event to like get rid of that stuff, right?
Which we can do
now,
super easily.
Hold on. Looks like let's go back.
Ask your admin to what?
Yeah, those. So like now when you have that new unified one, it doesn't let you edit that card, but it does let you get rid of it because it's a system card, right?
Okay.
So wait, we gotta. Oh, there it actually worked. Perfect. All right, sweet. So now we can see we've got a link. So if you actually click both those links and it'll show you what we do, right? So you got this event coming up. Well, actually don't click the actual value, just click the link icon it gives you. So click out of it somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Wait, you didn't know that?
I didn't know this.
Dude, click it.
Oh
Bang.
my gosh.
And there's the hidden field is filled in. That's the thing, right? So you just send this URL to your team and say, hey, use this link to bring up the form on the iPad or on your iPhones or whatever, right? Dude, it's so easy. So go back to your trade show thing because we're not ready to do this yet. What we need to do now keep in mind, all this is a one-time setup.
Yep.
You're never going to need to do this again. And we've done it in what, sub 20 minutes?
Yes.
Right? Okay, cool. So let's go build our workflow action that we need. And actually, we're going to build two. We're going to do deal attribution as well, right? So let's build a contact-based workflow action. Yep, from scratch. So we'll do contact-based, hit next. We'll do, yep. And then, okay, so you can set this up in a couple of different ways, right? Let's just set this up based on a form submission, right? And we'll do it that way. But like you can set this up in a couple of ways, but the easiest one's a form submission. So we'll do form submission. So we'll say when the contact has completed and let's choose a form. So I think it's like form name, and go find the lead capture form that you build. Here you go. Hit save. Now, what's important here, you might meet people multiple times, right? So we want to allow re-enrollment here. Okay. So go and click on this, right? Let's hit re-enrollment on the top, and let's allow re-enrollment and hit save. Awesome. So all we need to do here, because the assumption that's being made is that if someone fills this form out, they have that latest event ID in their contact record, right? So what we're going to do here is go ahead and hit plus, and then scroll down on the left until you see your third-party workflow actions. Choose Event Happily. Scroll down, hit Create Event Lead. And then optionally, let's go ahead and create a lead in the prospecting workspace. So go ahead and hit yes, hit save. Nice. All right. So now we have our mechanism that's going to create leads for us, right? So go ahead and click on the name and just call this like create event lead or something like that. Bing, bang, boom. All right, hit save. Do we want to do deal attribution workflow too?
Yes, we do.
Let's do it. All right, so we've got our lead capture worked out. Let's go back. Let's go create a deal-based workflow this time. And let's name this, I don't know, attribute event lead. Wait, attribute deals to events. Something like that. Yeah. So attribute deals to events, or event deal attribution, whatever. Yeah, that works. Cool. So let's do when an event occurs. We'll keep it simple here. This you could get more nuanced with, right? But basically what we're going to do is we're going to say when a deal gets created, go and look at the contacts that it's associated to and see if there's any events that we can associate to it, right? This is also assuming you have contacts associated to the deal upon creation, which you generally do, right? So like if you wanted to be careful with that, what you could do is you could add another filter that says like number of associated contacts is greater than 1 or something like that, right? But we can do this based on just an object getting created, because you generally always create a deal from a contact record, so that associated contact always exists, right? You could build this workflow to say every time you add a new contact to a deal, it runs. You could do like a scheduled operations hub workflow that's basically every 7 days check to see if there's new people and run it again, right? You can do this however you want, right? But the whole point is once you set up your enrollment, so go ahead and hit save here.
So what was the part about the contact associated?
Yeah, so like if you wanted to like make sure it's only going to run when there's actually a contact associated, you could add criteria here and say number of contacts associated is greater than 0 or something like that, right? So that's a deal property. Yep. So number of associated contacts is greater than or equal to 1.
Line items.
Yeah, you can do a bunch. But this is important that we talk about this, right? Because maybe you only want to attribute events to certain types of deals, right? So you can add filters here to only run this off of certain deals, right?
Yes.
Cool. So
and where my mind goes is like, let's say you got a QR code on a specific product, promotion.
Yep.
You can like automatically create the deal when they fill out the form, like with a line item. And
yeah, you could. So hit save here. Cool. All right. Now we're going to add another workflow action here. So let's, go add that. And so this is the attribute deal to event workflow action, right? So go ahead and click this. And then it's going to say which event should the deal associate to. Just to keep things simple, let's just do all events, right? And then how far back do you want to be able to look? So go and put in, actually just leave it blank. We don't need to put a limit here. Yep. Yeah. And then which labels would you like to target? Let's do event lead in this case, right? Labels. So it's going to go back and see which type of event this person's like associated to essentially, and then be able to do it. So go ahead and hit review and publish, and let's just take this thing live. Man, I hope all this works. I know it does, but we're live, so I want this to be flawless. All right, sweet. So, Chris, let's go to our event in our minds, right?
Okay.
We're going to the event, okay? Oh, and actually, do you have a sales user in this seat? Or sorry, do you have a sales seat in this portal
yes.
for your user?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. One thing we might want to do here, since these are new contacts getting created, is we'll want to make sure that we have assignment of contacts like set up, right? So why don't we actually do this? Why don't we go to our workflow we built that creates the event lead, and let's actually just make sure it assigns you as an owner, or it rotates, or like whatever, right? Because we're assuming these are new contacts, right? And in a real life portal, you'd already have like your lead assignment stuff set up, but since this is a fresh portal, we're just assuming you have nothing. So do this actually before it hits the create event lead workflow action. Go and actually, set this up to basically assign you, right? So do CRM. You should be able to assign ownership or something. What's the action? Rotate record to owner. Here you go. And then just select you as the contact owner. Here you go. Hit save. All right. Wonderful. Okay. So let's review and publish and take this thing live. Nice. All right. Are all of our workflows on?
Bang, bang, boom.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So we got create event lead. We got event lead deal attribution. Wonderful. All right, Chris, let's go to our event.
Look at this.
Oh, wait. I forgot one last thing that's really important. Okay. Let's remember how forms work. Forms, when you're capturing leads or capturing contacts on a form, it deduplicates it based on the email address. However, it will also deduplicate it, or it will actually update a contact's email address if the cookie is the same. When you have one single iPad or one single mobile device that a ton of people are filling out forms on, you want to shut that behavior off. All right. Which is fine because you don't care about cookie tracking when someone's filling out a form, right? So what you're going to do here is you're going to come into your options for that lead capture form, and you're going to set it to always create contact for new email addresses. All right. Perfect. And go ahead and hit update and publish. Nice. Cool. All right. So that's the last sort of step. Now we should have, unless I missed something, we should have everything we need to do this, right? So let's go to our event object. All right. We're here. Okay. You're the RevOps person prepping all this stuff before the event, right? And you go, all right, guys, here's the link you're going to use. All right. You copy that link, you send it to the team. We're now going to pretend that your laptop is an iPad. Okay. What I want you to do is just go to this link. All right. Cool. We're pretending Chris's computer is an iPad, right? This is another reason why, like, I really like using these share links, because these like standalone forms are very mobile friendly. So whether you got it on your iPad, you got it on your phone, you got it on a laptop, you got it on whatever, right? It's going to look good. So go ahead and type in like a new contact here. So the idea is like the person's just punching in the information, right? Yeah. And then notes, go ahead and just say, met Chris at the thing, did whatever. We ate a hot dog together, blah, 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 blah. Right? Likes the widget 9,000. Cool. Love that. Let's go ahead and hit submit. All right. So you just hit submit. So what's actually happening? Well, let's actually go and let's see if contacts are actually getting enrolled in this workflow, right? So let's go back to our workflow. Or actually, let's go find that contact first, and then I'll tell us everything we need to know. So go find the contact you just created. Cool. Let's look at the activities. Let's see if it hit the workflow. Okay. Did. Actually, no. So you submitted on the lead capture form. Let's hit the form submission. And let's make sure. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Cool. Let's just look at your form submission to make sure the event ID came through properly. It did. See that? So that's that latest Happily event lead ID. That's what's coming in because we set the URL parameter and because we have that hidden field, right? So it looks like it went through the workflow. Let's hit refresh. Let's see how quick this is. So scroll up. Let's hit refresh. Please work. Oh, we got a lead object. Wonderful. Scroll down. Let's take a look at event. Oh yeah, you might have to turn on leads.
Right.
I don't think we did that on your fresh portal yet.
Right.
So let's go to leads.
So all we're doing here is start using leads.
Yep. Okay.
Now we're good.
Now, hold on. This is just an important PSA around lead object ownership, right? If you go back into where it says setup, there's an option here to sync lead owners with the contact or the company owner, right? So you're not going to see a lead unless you own the contact or the company the lead's assigned to. You can flip this off and then just use lead rotators or manual set property actions and stuff like that in workflows if you'd rather do it. This isn't an Event Happily thing. This is more just like, whatever. So good question, Salim. How would you deal with concurrent events happening at the same time? This is why you have the unique URL to the form, because the URL holds the event ID. So if you got one team at the West Coast trade show and another team at the East Coast trade show, right? They can still submit on the same form, but the ID of the event is going to be different. Thus, the association between the contact and the event is going to be correct, right? Even if you're doing this at the same time.
Gorgeous.
If you're using business scanners, business card scanners, that's a little bit trickier, right? Because like really, like you can't add in other information. So like you kind of do rely on like what event's going on at that time, but that's big brain shit we can talk about later. All right. So let's go see if that contact got associated to the event. So on the right-hand side, please be. Yeah, we did it. Look at that. Cool. So we can see on this event record that we've got this contact associated to this event at this trade show. Did we have to fill out any properties that say which trade shows did they go to? No. Did we have to import a bunch of lists? No. But let's talk about importing lists for a second.
I'm literally like tearing up right now. Like, so beautiful.
So let's talk about lists. What if you can't do what we just did? What if like you show up with your form on your iPads and that person that runs the trade show runs up to you and says, hey, you can't do that. All right. We're going to give you a list of people that you can follow up with at the end of the show, which I know is, what happens a lot. It's kind of the norm, right? All you need to do is go to your event, go get your record ID, right?
Yep.
So Salim, I'm not surprised it works. I'm just happy it works. This is a fresh install and I remembered everything. So yeah, I'm going to be happy.
You did well, son.
We did good. So go to about this Happily event or wherever you end up storing this, right? Go find the record ID for this object. Cool. There's the record ID, right? So Chris, let's pretend you got a spreadsheet of lists of leads you have to import. Right?
I do actually.
Oh, cool. Go get them.
All right. Keep going because we're gonna.
So yeah, all you need to do in this case is when you go import your spreadsheet, you just need to have this property, or sorry, you just need to create a property for like, latest event lead ID or like whatever you call it in that column and paste this thing in, right?
It's
Here
not,
we go. Perfect.
Event. So it's latest.
Just call it event ID because it doesn't matter because you can match it up to the right thing when you do the import, right? So call it event ID, hit paste, and then shift drag that value all the way down.
Yeah, we'll do some of this and maybe some of these guys down here.
And then
one more batch.
Right. Yep. Cool. All right, sweet. All right. Now go export that thing into a CSV file and get it ready to bring in, right? Now, something to note is that we didn't really set our workflow up, right, to be able to see this yet, right? Because remember, we're triggering off the form submission, right? What you can do is you can either just adjust your criteria, or you can create a separate workflow action that deals with imports, right? Because maybe when you're doing an import, you don't want to create lead objects for everybody, right? But whatever. So let's actually just go do this. Let's go create another workflow.
Yeah.
Let's clone the other one.
Oh, we're over here. Yeah.
Or actually, we can just edit your existing one. Why don't we do that? Because it
And
might
that's
double it up.
create event lead, right?
Yep. So hit
edit
actions. And then so let's do, so let's do this one. And let's edit our criteria here. And let's do an or. Yep. And then we'll do property value changed, I think. I can't remember exactly. Wait, actually do contact created. Yeah. Object created. There's a bunch of different ways where you could do this. I honestly like it. Oh, you know what? Actually, this is a better way. This is a cleaner way of doing it, because sometimes I feel like these new like event-based like filters get kind of funky, right? So do it this way. Actually, go back and create a new workflow. Yep. So just do create workflow. Yep. And then just call this like import event list or something like that. Cool. Hit save. And then, do this. Have this be when a filter criteria is met, and then just do latest event lead ID is known. Yep.
Save.
Cool. And then what you could do here is you can literally just do a go-to workflow action and send them back to your other workflow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Hit save. Done. Right.
That's how we do it.
You could probably get it into the same workflow action, but like when I was testing it, like those event-based workflow actions get kind of like weird sometimes, right? And you could even make this so it's like, oh, only do it if it's the source is import or something like that, right? Who knows? We might accidentally create double leads here because we do something weird. But anyway, this doesn't matter. Actually, no, we won't, because it's not going to go through the other workflow again. So go ahead.
So no, only enroll contacts who meet.
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah.
Next. Turn on. Sweet.
All right.
Go do an import.
Import. We can do it. This is a beautiful thing, man. You guys are, I think it's hard to overestimate the power of
also
like getting out of your spreadsheets.
Salim makes a good point. There's an enrollment trigger based on an import. I think you're right. Probably could have just used that.
The fun part of HubSpot.
Mm-hmm.
5 different ways to get where you want to go.
Cool. So as long as all this stuff's mapped, the only thing you want to do is you want to go down to your event ID one. So
event ID.
Yep. So go to your event ID. Is this the same list?
No,
this is like
I think I picked the wrong one.
Yeah, you get the wrong list, buddy. Go back.
Yep. There we go. X that out. We don't want companies. We want contacts, which is first because I just updated it. There we go.
All right, scroll down so you can get to that last column you had with the event ID. Yep. So here you just want to choose the contact property and just do latest event lead ID. Yep. So this will stuff that in there, right? So yeah, and I don't know if there's any other ones you want to clean up before you do this. So you got 2 unmapped columns.
Because I want to update That's 228 errors. Never mind. We'll
Yeah,
see.
you got an email in there, so it'll go based off that anyway.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So what's
One
your last
unmapped
unmapped one?
column is this guy. All right, next.
Cool. Finish input. All right. So that's doing its thing. You know what we should try to do while we're waiting for that? Let's go create a deal for that contact who was an event lead. How about that?
So from the contact, create. Look at this.
We gotta go
lead
look
type,
at that lead object.
event follow-up.
Yep. Oh, why does it say Orca event follow-up? That's weird. That should just say event follow-up. We'll fix that. Yeah. So, actually, can I screenshot this?
Yep.
We got to fix that in the schema.
But look at this. New business, upsell, like all these relevant for shows. Like we're running out of excuses not to have the data right in the CRM.
Yep.
New lead in workspace. Just gonna see if I can.
Oh yeah, so do this. So first of all, edit your columns on the left so you can show the event stuff. But yeah, look, those are all the people that you just imported and it's already creating leads for them. See that? Dude, so you know which event they came from, right? If you were updating the notes field, you'd see what the notes were, right? But keep in mind, we're getting that on the form, right? So if you search here for your name, actually, you probably need to add the columns first, but go edit the columns. Oh, why isn't yours showing up? That's weird. Oh, there it is. So go edit the columns or just scroll right and see if it's already in there. Yeah.
Happily event note.
Yeah, put the note. You could put the event name there if you wanted to as well, but keep in mind we inject that into the name of the lead too as well, right? But yeah, go ahead and throw the note in there and hit apply. Right, so go over to the left. So you can literally see the notes that they left on the form, right? Dude, it's too easy. All right, so go convert this person into a deal.
Right. Which
you can just qualify the lead. You can just create a deal. Either way.
Which
man, we almost did the whole thing in an hour.
I know.
But granted, we didn't really start until like 15 minutes in there. So, you know,
how do I
45 minutes to set up to then clear this headache up forever?
Right?
Yeah.
Where's the convert?
So you can do it right on the lead object. You should be able to like create a deal. So on your lead on the left-hand side, or you can just go to that contact record and just create a deal. Either way, that's probably easier. So go to the hit view record, top right, and then just deal on the right. Just go create a deal.
Yeah.
Widget 9,000. All right. Make that $1 million deal. $1 billion. There you go. Trace Comas. All right. Sick. Create. All right. Let's see if this deal got enrolled into the workflow action. So let's hit activities. Make sure you're showing workflow stuff. Give it a refresh. Give it another refresh, Chris. I think sometimes these take a little bit to go into. Anyway, so that's coming in. Let's go and look at your what's it called? Your event object while this workflow's cooking on this deal.
All right. Event object is over here.
Let's look at your trade show. There's all your imported contacts.
28 leads. Man, when I would do this internally, I was just happy that there was a place for them to associate leads, and then I would go in and do it for them.
Oh no.
The fact that this happens automatically, like, come on, man. Like, there's no reason.
What were you just like, were you manually associating to a event object? What did you have to do?
Yeah. So like, this is one of those, like, we don't want them to do too much work moments. So it's like, just get this stuff in there, please. And then I'll kind of admin it. you know,
let's go triage our workflow for the deal since we're over time here. Let's
because
go
it would be
to,
right. It would be right here.
yeah, it
Right.
should be. But I don't
Okay.
know if that deal went into the workflow. So maybe we screwed up
Right.
our enrollment criteria, right?
Yep.
So let's go to deal attribution. Let's just view our performance to see if anything got imported, or even just hit enrollment history on the right. Yeah, nothing. See, this is okay. So this is what's weird about these workflows. When you create the deal, I think it sees it so quick that the number of associated contacts isn't even updated yet. Right? So go kill that filter thing. So hit edit, hit delete. Yeah, and delete group. Cool. So hit save. Okay. Now go manually enroll that deal. You might have to allow re-enrollment. So go actually click your enrollment criteria again. Allow re-enrollment here and hit save. I could guarantee it's because we had that filter that it was like so fast that that property wasn't updated yet. So it didn't know to use it. Right.
Right.
So let's hit enroll on the top right. Let's just choose an individual deal and let's find the widget 9000 deal and let's run it through the workflow action and see if it works. Cool. So give that a second and it'll enroll it. Awesome. You can view the enrolled deals. Wonderful. Why don't we go to that deal now? So it's going to kind of do its thing, right? It enrolled in deal attribution. Give it a refresh for me real quick. It's not on there yet. It takes a second because you got to know it's like it's making a lot of API calls to go back and look and see what sort of event history it has, right? So this like takes a minute, right? But again, you're not like, dude, there it is.
Bam. Still under an hour.
Go back to your event. It took what, 2 seconds?
Like, look at this.
Here's all the leads you captured. Here's the events you went to. Done, bro. Done. And now literally all you're doing now, Chris, you got an event coming up. Go make an event record for it. Here's the link, guys. Go capture leads. Oh, you got me a list? Give it to me. Record ID. Upload. Go sell. Go sell. Don't think about attribution. Done. Dude, you're done. This like took people hours and hours of their life. And now it's like we just set it up in less than 45 minutes, right? And you can kiss all that wasted time goodbye and all of that just, I don't know what the hell to attribute to anything when it comes to my events. Gone, out the window, done, solved it. How sick is that? And we haven't even gotten into doing like expenses.
This is the surface. We haven't shown like CMS, like, man, like the ROI cards you've been making.
Yes.
Now, like, I'm super excited about the association, properties. You can literally see all this stuff from the contact record now. Man,
how sick is this?
And the reality is it would have taken you a bunch of hours.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah.
It just didn't get done.
Yeah.
Before
yeah.
we chose not to do it. Now you have access to this. Especially
no excuse.
Every company right now that has access to custom objects, I guarantee you're doing events of some sort.
Yeah.
And this is powered simply by the fact that you're making a place for the stuff to happen. Yeah. Like there's not like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's set up, right?
45 minutes to save you how many hours a year?
Like half of the event, like trade show tasks, you usually get done at the last second anyways, right?
Yeah.
So now, man, and the cool thing is, like, once you do this the first time,
you're done. You're done.
Now it's going to take like 5 minutes to set it up for the next show.
Yeah,
just create the record.
Take you as long as it takes you to fucking. Sorry, it's going to take you.
No,
take you as long. It's going to take you as long as it takes you to just set up an event object, pop some expenses in there when you get them, right, and then email the team and say, "Hey guys, use this link on the iPad," or just send me the list after.
Like
done.
God.
Done.
The power of this stuff, like just managing your stuff in HubSpot.
Crazy.
It just enables so much.
No one done this yet. Like that's what it blows my mind. People were having this problem 8 years ago when I was onboarding them onto the Marketing Hub. Right? Like Anyway, cool.
Well done. Well
I gotta
done,
go, but this
Happily
was
team.
super cool, man.
Thanks so much,
And
Max.
yeah, we'll have to do a follow up at some point and like
Yes.
maybe do some like expense stuff and counting leads and lead costs and all that stuff too.
For sure. I want to get
we'll do that
Nikki.
in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna get Nikki on here and be like, let's build that.
Yeah, for sure,
Build
man.
the event, speakers, sponsors, all that good stuff.
Oh, I was supposed to invite Nikki too. Damn, she wanted to come on and talk about this one, but I think they might have been in the audience. So, all right, buddy.
Good. Thanks everybody.
For watching, everyone.
Thank you, Max.
Chris, can you send me the recording of this?
I sure can.
All right, sweet, awesome.
Later.
Have a good one, guys.